Hello friends, subscribers and new viewers of this channel, and welcome to Machine Learning and AI Tutorials. We are continuing strong on covering different models and explaining how to install and run models locally. In this video tutorial, we are going to cover one very important and interesting multi-purpose model. The name of this model is Phi-4-multimodal-instruct, and it's being published by, believe it or not, Microsoft. Phi-4 is a multimodal, multi-purpose, and a lightweight open source model that can be used for a number of applications. Briefly speaking, the model can handle audio files, process text, recognize text, handle images, and handle even videos. To illustrate the usefulness of this model, I constructed a test case. Namely, I sketched a right triangle that you can see over here, and I denoted the sides 3, 4, and over here I added a question mark. Obviously, this is a mathematics problem, and an elementary school student can solve this problem by applying the Pythagoras theorem. Now, we are just providing this image to the model, and we say to the model, solve the math problem on this image. That is, we don't provide any additional detail about the triangle, about the sides. We just provide the image and the text prompt saying, solve this math problem. And over here you can see the response. So here is the question, solve the math problem on the image, and we have also provided the image, and here is the response of the model. The given triangle is a right triangle. Awesome. This is really amazing. We can use the Pythagorean theorem to find the length of the hypotenuses. The Pythagorean theorem states that in a right triangle, and over here we state the Pythagorean theorem, and then over here you can see that the model was able to apply the Pythagoras theorem and to compute the solution. This is truly amazing. Here's another test case that illustrates the applicability of this model. Namely, over here from internet you can find this audio clip.
What we do as a society, we have to think about where we're moving to. I frequently talk to students about cognitive enhancing drugs.
And you can see that this is a clip from maybe some professor. In fact, the person who speaks is Barbara Sahakian. Okay, I don't know this person, but I believe this person is some expert. Now, what we can ask this model is to go online, download this audio file, and then we can say this. Transcribe the audio to text, that is, convert the audio to text, and then translate the audio to French. Use a separator between the original transcript and translation. And over here, after this file is being recognized, that is, after the text is being extracted, here it is. What we do as a society, we have to think about where we are moving to, etc. And over here is a French translation. Ce que nous faisons entendre. Okay, I studied French in elementary school, so I don't want to, show off and explain my French skills. However, this should be correct translation. Of course, this model can have tons of applications. For example, it can be used in robotics, computer vision, and in other interesting engineering applications. What is very important to observe about this model, it is that it's only around 5.5 billion parameters, and most likely you can execute it on edge devices. That is, you can most likely execute this model on, for example, on the newest phone, or even on Raspberry Pi, or on a smaller computer. In this video tutorial, I will explain how to install this model and how to run it on your local computer. Note over here that I'm using Linux Ubuntu. The main reason for using Linux Ubuntu is that this model, as well as a number of recent models, require flash attention. Now, flash attention is a speed-up library for machine learning. And I had a number of issues compiling this library on a Windows machine, and consequently I'm sticking to Linux Ubuntu for installing models that require flash attention. If, for example, you're on a Windows machine, then you can use Windows subsystem for Linux to run this model, and you can follow the same procedure that I'm explaining in this video tutorial. Okay, before we start with installation, it's very important that you have NVIDIA CUDA toolkit and NVIDIA CUDA compilers installed on your system. If you don't have them, then you need to watch this video tutorial over here that will teach you how to properly install NVIDIA CUDA toolkit and NVIDIA CUDA compilers. Now, if you're using Windows subsystem for Linux, I created a separate video tutorial explaining how to install NVIDIA CUDA toolkit on Windows subsystem for Linux. I will provide links to both tutorials in the description below. Okay, so let's start with installation. First of all, click here and search for terminal. Then open the terminal, and over here, let's first update and upgrade everything. Let's run these two commands and enter your password. Now, it's going to take time to update and upgrade everything. However, remember, every time you want to install a new program or a package, make sure that you update and upgrade your system and all the packages. Okay, so let's be patient over here. And then press Y here. Okay. This will take maybe 30 seconds or something like that, so let's be patient. Next, let's verify a few things. First of all, let's verify the Linux distribution we are using. If you type this, you should see your Linux distribution. In my case, it's Ubuntu 24.04, and my suggestion is to run this Linux Ubuntu distribution since it's the newest one and it has long-term support. If you're running WSL, then make sure that you install Ubuntu 24.04. Next, let's verify that we have NVIDIA CUDA compilers on our system. We can verify compilers by typing this, and if compilers are installed, then you should see something like this. You can see that I'm using CUDA 12.6. If this message returns an error, then watch the video tutorial whose link is given in the description below in order to install NVIDIA CUDA compilers. Next, let's verify that we have the GCC compiler. These are the C++ compilers, and you can see that we have them, and most likely you will have them since they come as an integral part of Linux Ubuntu installation. Next, let's navigate to the home folder, and inside of this home folder, let's create another folder or directory called Phi-4-test. Next, let's navigate to this folder, and inside of this folder, we need to create a Python virtual environment. However, before we can create a Python virtual environment, let's verify the Python version. Actually, if you're a Linux Ubuntu system, you should type this, and you can see that I'm using Python 3.12, and my suggestion is to use this Python version. The newer version of Python actually has some issues with PyTorch and NVIDIA CUDA compilers, and consequently my suggestion is to use this Python version. Next, let's install the command that will enable us to create Python virtual environments. Here it is, and let's finally create a Python virtual environment in which we are going to later on install all the packages. Next, let's activate the environment by sourcing the activate file. That's it, and you can see now that the Python virtual environment is active and we are good to go. And here comes the most critical part. We need to install the necessary Python libraries and packages such that we can run this model. Now, if you go to this main web page of Phi-4, you will see that it's maybe 10 or 20 pages long, and it's difficult to find what are the requirements and what are the libraries we need. And here they are. You can see it over here. Now, you can actually run these installation by typing pip install this, pip install this, pip install this, etc. until the end. However, we are not going to do that. Instead, we are going to create a requirements file, and then in this requirement files, we're going to copy this, and then later on we're going to type pip install -r requirements, and everything will be automatically installed. So let's do that. First of all, let's type over here sudo nano requirements.text, and let's paste everything over here. Copy, paste, and then let's save. You can save this file by pressing Ctrl O, press enter, then Ctrl X to exit. And now we can simply type this command. We can simply type pip install. Let me see where the command is. Oh, I will just type it. Pip install -r and then requirements.text. And this will automatically install all the libraries defined in this file, as well as the corresponding version, and bang. And let's see what's happening. You see that we are installing everything. And this process might take a while, since you're installing 10 libraries, you're installing PyTorch, and all sorts of fancy things. The next step is to install the Hugging Face Hub library such that we can download the model files from the Hugging Face repository. To do that, first of all, you need to install Hugging Face Hub, and then after that you need to install additional command line tools. And that's it. Okay, now let's go back to the remote repository, go back to Microsoft Phi-4-multimodal-instruct, and then over here we need to download all the model files from here. So let's learn how to do that. Well, click here on the model card, and first of all copy this repository name by clicking here. Now, what we need to do, we need to create a command that will download everything. So the command goes like this: Hugging Face -CLI, then download, and then over here you need to paste the model name, that is the model name that you copied from here, and then over here you need to specify this parameter, local directory, and then you need to specify the name of the folder in which you want to download. Over here I'm using the relative path, that is inside of this folder I'm going to create automatically the model folder, and I'm going to download the model files inside of this folder. So let's create here a folder called model. Now that we have model, we can simply do this. So let's copy this, let's paste it, and this will download the model files. Now, this whole process might take 5 minutes or so. If you experience errors during the download process, and the errors can often occur since sometimes the connection times out, then just repeat once again this command. And hopefully if I see an error, I'm going to do that, and I will demonstrate you how to deal with errors. Recently I noticed that this thing is happening for some reason, maybe because a lot of users are using the Hugging Face repository and their servers are probably being too busy. Luckily I didn't see any error. However, if you see an error, just repeat this command once again. Okay, the next step is to write a test code. Luckily, Microsoft engineers have provided a test code over here. So go to the website and go scroll down, and here's the test code. So simply copy this, then go over here and use your favorite Python editor. In my case, I'm going to use Visual Studio Code. If you want to learn how to install a Visual Studio Code on a Linux Ubuntu machine, I created a separate video tutorial on how to do that, and a link will be provided in the description below. So let's create a new file, new file, and I will call it as test.py. And here it is. Save it in the workspace folder and paste everything. First, I'm going to execute this code as it is. And let me explain you what this code is briefly doing. Now, but before we can execute, let's do several modifications. First of all, over here we need to specify the model path. I'm going to simply erase this part over here. Then I'm going to go back to my terminal. I'm going to go to the model. Then I'm going to type pwd, and here is the path to the model. Then I'm going to paste it over here. And now the software will know where the model files or safe tensors are. So let's see what's happening over here. This code will do two things. The first thing is to recognize what's on the image. And over here they're using actually the image from this website. So let me now see what is this image. This is probably some sign. Yes, so you can see somewhere in Australia someone filmed an entry to Chinatown, and over here you can see a stop sign, and then the model is being asked what is shown in this image, and the model should recognize what's happening. So this is the first illustration. We're just going to run the code as it is, and then later on I will show you how to modify this code such that you can use your custom images. Now over here you can see another application. Another application is audio processing, and this is the example from the beginning of this video tutorial. Namely, here is the address or URL of a simple audio file where a person is speaking, and over here you ask a question, transcribe the audio to text, and then translate the audio to French, and that's it. Okay, so let's test this. To run this code in Visual Studio Code, you need to press Ctrl Shift P, then click on Python, select Interpreter, and make sure that you select the interpreter inside of the Python virtual environment. So press this thing and then run the code, and let's see what happens. Now let's test it. This is now in real time, and you can see how quickly the things are being loaded, and we can see over here what is shown in this image, and that they're saying a stop sign in front of the building. And here is the second thing, audio processing. Now the file is being downloaded from remote repository, and you can see that everything works like a charm. Now that we were able to run this model, let's do the second test. In this second test, I'm going to create a simple math problem. So let's go to Firefox, then go to Google, search online sketch. This is a simple program for sketching. So click over here, and then let me now sketch the problem from the beginning of this video tutorial. Over here I'm sketching a triangle. Let me now do Ctrl Z such that I have a nice triangle. Here it is. Then here is another side. Let me fix this. Then over here let's do 3, 4, and over here let's do a question mark, and that's the test image. Okay, so let's save this image. To save this image, click Export, and then over here choose the file name. I'm going to use this one, JPG. Click here, and let's go to the download folder. Let's see where the file is. Here it is. I'm going to rename this file, and I will call it as test. Okay, now what I will do, I'm going to copy this. Then I will go to my workspace folder. It's in home, Phi-4-test, and I'm going to paste it over here. And that's it. Now let's go back to the code, and over here we need to do several modifications. Let's scroll down and let's go to the line. Let's see where the things are being loaded. Here. I'm going to comment this since I'm not going to use URL. That is an online picture. I'm simply going to use my own picture. And over here I'm going to specify image path, and then here in as a string I'm just going to give the name or a path to my file. So let me just see, the file is located in home, my username here. So let me copy this and let me paste it at the correct spot. Here it is, and let's see what's the image name, test.jpg. Test.jpg. Okay, so test works as it should, and then over here let's copy this, erase this part, and paste this. Save this, and let's over here modify this. Let's write solve the math problem on the image, and let's do the question mark. Let's save this, let's run this, and let's hope that everything will work as it should. Now again, model is being opened, loaded, and then you can see the response for some reason is equal to 2. Okay, so now apparently there is some issue over here. So let's see what went wrong. Sometimes you might need to change the prompt or do something else. So over here I changed back the prompt to what is shown in this image, and over here I'm using the same image and everything is the same. Let's save this and let's run, and let's see will the software be able to recognize what is shown in this image. So let's see what's happening. Now the model is running, and you can see the image displays a simple line drawing of a right angle triangle with one side labeled as 3 units and the other as 4 units. There is a question mark indicating an unknown value, and this is very important. This means that the model is working and you just need to slightly modify this question to solve the problem. Okay, that's all for today. I hope that you like this video. If you like the videos I'm creating, please press the like and subscribe buttons, and see you in the next video tutorial.